So what we're going to be doing, guys, is we are going to look at the second page here. Now, if you look at the second page here, I already did the number one, the first thing for you all. Okay, so I did do that for you guys. If you look here, we have carbon. Carbon, right? Carbon has an atomic number of 6. So if carbon has an atomic number of 6, like we see here, carbon's going to have 6 protons and 6 electrons. So I go over here, all right, 6 protons, 6 electrons. Now, if I look up here, it says number of valence electrons and number of electrons needed to fill the outer shell. So other than hydrogen and helium, which are in the first level, hydrogen and helium only need 2 to fill its outer shell, correctly? Correct? Because there's only 2 electrons go in that shell. Other than that, how many do the rest of them need? 8, right? They need 8 to fill that outer shell. So carbon has 4 because it's in that group 4A or 14, right? So how many more does it need? Well, you keep counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, we're done. So it needs 4 to fill that outermost shell. Hydrogen, how many would it need? How many protons does it have? Hydrogen's atomic number is 1. So how many protons? How many electrons? 1. Good. So how many valence electrons does it have? What family is it in? It's in this first group. So how many valence electrons does it have? It's in the first group. How many valence electrons does it have? 1. Remember, guys, the group tells us the number of valence electrons. Okay? Now, and how many more does it need to fill that outer shell? Since there's only 2 elements in that first level, it only needs 1 more. So, to make a little more sense of this, let's look at chlorine. Let's look at one more example, and then I'm going to explain what to do in the bottom half. All right. So chlorine, what's its atomic number? 17. So if it's atomic number 17, how many protons and electrons does it have? 17. Good. Now, how many valence electrons does it have? 7. Because it's in the 7th family, right? 7th group or 7th family. So it has 7 valence electrons. How many more does it need? 1, because 8 is how many go in the outer shell. Remember, helium only has a max of 2 that it can have because it's in that first energy level, all right? So that one's going to be the other one that's a little bit different. Everything else is going to have 8. Now, let's look down here at this. Yes. You need to put 8 or 1. Exactly. Thank you, dear. Now, let's look down here at this. All right. So I want to make sure that you guys get this. So hydrogen, right? Hydrogen, it can have a max of how many electrons in that outer shell? How many can go in that first energy level? Yes, 2. It can have a max of 2. So what we have is H with a dot, right? Plus, do the best I can here, plus H with a dot. Now, covalent bonds are different. Covalent bonds are a sharing of electrons from nonmetal to nonmetal. Okay, it's a sharing of electrons from nonmetal to nonmetal. So I'll write that down if you guys don't have that. How are you feeling today? I feel much better today. I feel really good. So covalent bonds, I feel back to myself. It's sharing of electrons between two nonmetals. Sharing of electrons between 2 nonmetals, okay? So make sure you guys have that down. Sharing of electrons between 2 nonmetals. Now, I'm going to show you guys a very cringy video after this. Oh, yeah, it's great. And I will put that on each class's Google Classroom page as well. All right. So just want to make sure you guys knew it's going to go up there. And it's going to go in the classwork. All right. So this video I'm making now and that video is going to go in classwork. All right. I'm sorry, on the stream. Forgive me. It's going to go on the stream. So now we show this by making a line. We show these by making a line. So hydrogen here, hydrogen plus hydrogen is going to be shown like this. So we have H, and I'm going to make a space in between. Another H, and then I'm going to take my drawing tool. And where these two will migrate down to show that they share, right? The line's going to go right here. That's to show that there are 2 electrons being shared here and 2 electrons being shared here. So they fill their outer shell. However many electrons they need, that's how many bonds they can form. So my final equation is going to be H2.
There's 2 dots, right?
Because there's 2 hydrogens. There's 2. This is before and after. This is showing the work, and this is showing the answer. Okay? Yeah. Try to do the best I can. So I want to go over one of the harder ones after this to show you guys how this relates to ionic bonds as well. So I'm going to leave this up here, but I want you guys to listen. Don't try to get these down right now. Try to listen. All right? So the next one I'm going to show you guys is E, nitrogen and hydrogen. Now, nitrogen. How many valence electrons does nitrogen have? Look at the family it's in. Look at the group. How many valence electrons does nitrogen have? Look at your periodic table. It has how many?
5.
Yes, it has 5. So I'm going to make 5 dots, right? I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hydrogen we know has how many? 1. All right. So I'm going to make it N plus H. So this will be hard for you guys to do on your iPad, but if you want to do it on your iPads like I'm doing it here, that's perfectly fine. If you want to draw it and attach it with the final answers just being shown on here, the chemical formula, that's fine as well. So now we have nitrogen plus hydrogen. How many valence electrons does nitrogen need to fill its outer shell?
2.
Okay, so it has 5. How many does it need?
3.
3. It has 5. It needs 3. So since it needs 3, it can form how many bonds? 3. So we take one of these hydrogens, and I'm going to put it right here, right? So we're going to have, this is where it gets difficult to do on here. We have N, and we know we have a hydrogen here, right? So now, can somebody get that? So now, we know that there's going to be a sharing of electrons right there, correct? We know there's going to be a sharing of electrons right there.
I need some cheese, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. And then, now, here's the problem. We have 1, 2. How many more hydrogens do we need? What would we do if it was ionic? You would see that there's 5 here, and how many more do you need? So you need 3. So there's 1 hydrogen. I would put in a hydrogen right here too. So put in a hydrogen right here, as well as a hydrogen right here. And these will now bond together. Remember, covalent means they're sharing, so this line means it's a sharing of electrons here, and it's a sharing of electrons here. So we have 2 being shared for hydrogen, fills its shell. 2 being shared for hydrogen, fills its shell. 2 being shared here for hydrogen, fills its shell. Now, how many does nitrogen have to fill its outer shell? How many electrons overall? 8, right? 8, right? It had 5. It had 5. So we have 2, 4, 6, and 8 with the other 2 lone pair up there. Now, I'm going to show you a video that will help make sense of this too. I want to make a video of this to show you how you're going to do this work. And the final equation is going to be what? What do we have?
NH3.
NH3. Good. I'm going to stop the recording here.